Welcome to The Best Band I Ever Played With. This is a podcast about people who play live music, but not people who are famous for playing live music, or even necessarily people who do it as their main job. No, this is about people who play live music in small venues, the backs of pubs, a lot of the time in front of not very many people, and a lot of the time only for a couple of cans of Red Stripe. Under normal circumstances outside of a pandemic, I would normally be one of these people, and I haven't been able to do it for several months. For that reason, I thought it'd be nice to talk to other people who would normally do it, see what their experiences have been, see what they've learned, and see who the best band they ever played with was. You may remember the guests for this episode from bands such as Tugboat Captain, Barge and Rooskin. He sometimes raps, he normally plays keys, and he sometimes plays the electric bassoon. In this chat with him, we spoke about the last gig that he played with Tugboat Captain in New York just as the pandemic was hitting. He talks about what it's like being a rare electric bassoon player in the indie world. And of course, he tells us who the best band he ever played with was. There's more from me later, but first, enjoy this conversation with Buddy Caderney, aka Sloppy Giuseppe. So, the last gig you played was in New York.
Yes.
With Tugboat Captain. The part of the sadly cursed attempts to play some shows in America and eventually South by Southwest. But then, of course, after going to all of the effort to raise the money to get over there, the pandemic hit. It hit basically at the exact wrong moment.
Yeah, I mean, you could say wrong moment. You could say right moment. I had a good time. I had a great time, in fact. I'm not going to lie. Because there was no one there. It was awesome. Like, yeah, sure, no one was at the shows, but, whatever. It was just like you could go to Times Square and you could hear a pin drop, you know what I mean? It was amazing. But I'm still pissed off the fact I saw some shrooms out there and no one wanted to take them. And I was like, bro, this is the perfect time to take them in America, in New York. And everyone was like, nah, buddy, you're tripping out. I was like, I was on a mad one. I was like, I'm not going to be able to have another mad one for like months, which I haven't. So,
Yeah.
But it was, it is what it is, man. Like, it would have been nice to play these shows with lots of people and party but I mean,
it was the New Colossus Festival in New York.
It was the New Colossus Festival.
That's the one. Yeah, there's some good acts on the lineup.
Yeah, there was some good acts.
It looked like a pretty good gig.
I can't remember half of them, but there were some pretty good acts. There was this one Spanish duo who were fucking awesome, but I can't remember their name. The Orioles were there. They were good, but we were meant to play a show with them.
Yeah.
But they what's the word? They dropped out. Fair enough. But I saw them. They were good there. But quite a lot of English people. A lot of people knocking about. Like a lot of European people who came over and like, this is so fucked. And I was like, yeah, this is so fucked.
Yeah.
But that's life. I had a good time. It's kind of the pressure was taken off as well, It wasn't like, oh my God, there are only 20 people at my show. It's like, oh my God, there are 20 people at the show. This is great.
Was that as a result of being in America or because of the pandemic or a bit of both?
Probably a bit of both. But I'd like to think mainly the pandemic. On the one hand, I'm kind of like, well, who's coming to these shows? Like, I don't know. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, this seems like a pretty big deal there. If you're into like live music, it's like, it's like, oh, all these people coming from around the world to, it's like, it's not South by, but it seems like something legit. And I just think people were not up for going out. Like, as I said, New York was empty. It's like, no one was about on the street. Everyone was just at their homes. Like, the subways were empty. It was mad. Like, I got a seat every time, I feel like that doesn't happen there.
Yeah. just for following it from afar, it did seem like a incredibly surreal time. I mean, it's surreal everywhere, but
it was really surreal.
But yeah.
But I was a bit too mashed up to notice how surreal it was. I was like, I'm not gonna look at the news. Socks was constantly on the news, just being like, and I was like, I'm not looking at the news. I know shit is dark right now, but I just
yeah. There were 4 of you over there in New York. There was you. There was Josh. There was Georgia, and there was Socks. So how was
and Steve?
Was how?
Yeah, man.
And
Steve was our Airbnb host who made pornos. I kind of thought he was a G, but I feel like obviously I was going to think this guy was a G because he makes pornos. He was actually a very sad man. He'd wake up at like 4 p.m. and then go to the strip club at like 1 a.m. and stay until like 10 a.m. and then come back and then go to bed. And
wow.
I don't know. I don't know. He made me laugh, but he just had pictures he was like, yeah, I'm in the film industry. And it's like, mate, all of the pictures around your house are just naked girls. And you live at the strip club. I know what you do. Like, what are you talking about? But it was us 4 and Steve.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, he was already in New York. I presume he still is.
Yeah, well, if you're listening, Steve, what up?
Steve, you're my guy.
Get in contact.
You know?
So how would you describe morale at that point? You've got there, streets are empty, no one's at these gigs.
You know, I mean, there are some people at the first few gigs because it was like gradually through the week, it was just getting more and more like we got there and we were like, oh my God, America, sick, fuck COVID, it's going to be fine, whatever. And then the next day, we're kind of like, okay, hopefully this doesn't escalate. And it just escalated and escalated and escalated. It was like every day. It was like, you know, when it was here, there was like the week where it was kind of like, oh yeah, still schools are still going on. Yeah, everyone just wash your hands as normal. And then like every day it was kind of like, oh, so this many people are getting it and dying. It was like that week there. Like it happened a bit earlier in New York. And that's what we were there for. So, yeah, it was morale got progressively worse and worse. As I said, I was there for a good time. You know what I mean? I was loving it, man. I was, you know. But
yeah, I mean that's
you know, yeah. A show is a show. Like a good time with your friends is so much more important. You know. I had that.
Is that an attitude that you try and take into all of the gigs you play?
I think it's an attitude I take into all the gigs I play, 100%. I'm there to have a good time, you know what I mean? I do it because I like to do it. I like getting silly. I like being myself, or a version of myself, you know? I definitely don't get like stage fright or anything, being like, oh my God, I've got to play the show. I'm just like, this is great. I'm playing a show. This is awesome. I'm going to do something stupid. You know? I'm a crowd surf with the bassoon. So why not? So I can.
You've done a fair share of gigging and travelling around and, you know, so is it always easy to be in that state of mind? When, say, you...
No, it's not actually. Because some of the shows... I've played some shows where I'm like... Obviously... Like, I've played some... There are certain shows which come to mind, especially up when I was playing shows in Manchester, that where, like, you get there and the crowd is fucking hyped and everyone is, like, pinging and you're just like, I just want to get fucking nuts. And it's 1 a.m. and you're just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? And then there've been shows where it's, like, 8:30 p.m. in Torquay at a pub where there are 4 people and they've all got fucking English flag tattoos, and I'm just like, oh, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, this is not what I'm, you know. There have been some gigs where I'm like, I just want to play the gig and roast a bone and chill out, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm playing a gig, so it's still pretty cool, you know. Like, I looking back on it now, it's like this is the longest I've been without playing music to people since I was 7 years old. And it's just like, I miss it so much, you know. So I'd take one of those Torquay gigs right now, you know what I mean? I mean, I wouldn't because I don't want to be inside at a pub. But if COVID weren't happening, I would take it.
Yeah. I mean, some of those... It is quite a unique experience to play in a place where you get there and you immediately realise that, this was a poorly thought out idea, and you get there and it's like, no one in this place wants to listen
I've
to
done
this.
my fair few share of those shows. But you never know. There might be someone who's just like, oh my God, you know what I really wanted tonight? Whatever you're playing, I love it. I had that once with Cameron and Leon. It was the first time I met, Leon.
Cameron and Leon, who you've played with in Pleasure Barge, primarily.
Yeah. So the first time I ever met Leon was we were going up to support Socks and Josh's old band in Manchester, and Cameron was living with Leon. I never met Leon. I went on to live with the guy and be in a band with him, but I never met him. And I was like, let's go up. You were there, bro. Oh, you weren't there. Oh, you were in China, man.
No, I wasn't there. Yeah, I was out of the country.
This is so funny, man. But we started a band for one night only called Jimmy Neutron and the Lemon Squeezers. And I had like 17 pints, and we'd never rehearsed or played, and we were just like, fuck it. Well, we're all good musicians, whatever. We can make up songs on the fly. So we're just making up songs, being like, Lawrence, our mate, takes another key or whatever. Or just like doing a cover of Prototype by Outkast or something, but trashed. I was fucked. I was naked for the whole thing. Shirt on, no trousers or pants. But there was this one guy in the crowd, I don't know his name, but he loved it, man. And I always used to bump into him around, or he used to bump into Cam or Leon and be like, oh my God, Jimmy Neutron and the Lemon Squeezers, man, that was the best night of my life. And I'm just like, what were you doing there, bro? Like, what? Like, and he'd always be like, oh my God, you're the guy from Jimmy Neutron and the Lemon Squeezers. I'm like, yeah, I guess, but I don't know. So you never know who's gonna be there, who's gonna like it.
When I asked you to do this, you initially said to me something along the lines of, just to let you know, whenever I'm in front of a microphone or someone's asking me questions, I become a complete dickhead.
Yeah, I feel like it's different with you because I know you and I don't want to be a dickhead to you. But most of the time, I would just say really stupid shit just to see how far I can push this poor person who's having to interview a tiny, shitty little band. Just to see where their breaking point's at. I did this one which was like this was with Tugboat in Bristol. I was some shitty radio station, man. Some shitty, like, I was probably a student radio. Like, it was whack. And it was like we were sat around a table and we had like one microphone and we were like passing the microphone. It was so shit. But anyway, we were doing that. And I was just, I saw there was a Guinness Book of World Records, and I was just like, I'm going to start reading out these Guinness Book of World Records facts for the whole interview. I was just like, that's all I'm going to do. And like, someone would be saying something about, oh, you got songs coming out. And I'd be like, well, did you know that the most salinous lake in the world is in Antarctica? 56% salt, followed by one in Djibouti, which is true. But yeah, I just like to be a dickhead because it's fun. It's like, I don't know. Often it doesn't come across if it's not a video interview, though. It's especially if it's written down. It's just like, this guy is really weird. It's just like, what is he talking about?
Yeah,
you don't get the tone of kind of sarcasm / taking the piss out of someone.
The thing is, I know you quite well, so when I read the Barry Manilow stuff, like I heard it in your voice. But I did also think, like, just looking at that written down,
it doesn't look good. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that whenever you're out and about in the country, say with Tugboat, is that the kind of thing that you end up having to do? So that one you mentioned, you were in Bristol for that.
I think. Well, Socks usually pulls the strings for this kind of stuff. And I think he realised, probably a bit too late, but eventually realised that it's not a good idea if I'm there. It's really not a good idea. I'm really not good. We did one the other day and I was pretty well behaved. But I wasn't that well behaved. I was like, guys, I was so well behaved. And they were like, you weren't really. You still went on about how great Missouri is for like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, you know, Missouri is great. You know, that's how I feel. Yeah, I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun to piss people off, you know.
Do you find the kind of questions that get asked in these kind of things, you find them kind of tedious or
it's
boring
just like, oh yeah, who
Yeah.
inspires you? Like, yeah, loads of people, man. You know,
Yeah,
lots of people inspire me.
it's always such a
Like,
weird.
it's also like, I feel like, especially with Tugboat, it's just like, if I actually gave the answers to who inspires me, they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're making fucking twee indie pop, and I'd be out here being like, you know, Andre 3000 is my inspiration. And they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What? That does not show at all in your music. And I'd be like, well, yeah. You know, if I answer honestly, they're just so, you know, I kind of just make a joke about Slash and then leave it at that.
I can't remember which one it was, but there's definitely a lot of Slash going on in your answers.
Yeah, I kind of worry that you can Google me and it just comes up with like Slash fanatic, Buddy Kid Ernie.
Well, to be fair, a lot of the time it has you down as Sloppy Giuseppe rather than your actual name. So
okay.
I think you're fine there.
I'll take that.
But yeah, I guess. Yeah, take it, man. Take it. It's kind of fun, I suppose. So, right, you say I hear you say electric bassoon a lot. Can you talk me through what that means to the uninitiated?
So a bassoon is a woodwind instrument. It's usually not electric. Sounds a bit like a fart. Yeah, you can get. There's this guy in California who makes these pickups for it, which is like a tiny microphone you put in the crook, which is the bit that attaches to the body of it, where like the sound initially comes out. And it's a tiny little microphone, and you put it into this specially designed crook, and then it goes through a little kind of preamp, and then you can amplify the sound. So you can have it so it's just like clean, which is fucking lame. Or you can have it with loads of effects, which is fucking awesome. But my pickup's broken right now. I don't know what to do. Because there's the only guy in the world who does it. It's in California. So it's like, what am I meant to do? He might be dead. He might have died of COVID. I don't know. You know? I don't want to email him because that seems way too normcore for like an electric bassoon problem. Like, I want to seek him out. You know? Like, I want to go to his house and be like, on a pilgrimage and be like, I've brought you my little Jake plug-in.
I seek the great one.
Yeah, I seek the great one who can repair my electric bassoon plug-in.
Yeah.
Thing. I'll probably pick up. Yeah.
Talk me through your electric bassoon rig. What are you feeding that through?
I would, if I could, I would own all the pedals, all of them, every single pedal. But I don't play the guitar really, so I feel like just buying pedals for a bassoon, I don't know, it makes me feel like it's just a big waste of money. But I've got a couple. I've got that Sans amp, which is pretty great. It's like a bass DI kind of thing. So you can just like compress it and you can just up the bass tone or whatever, or the treble or whatever you want. I've got automatic, like a Neutron pedal. It's like it's kind of like an auto wah pedal, auto filter pedal, which makes some really horrible sounds. It's great. It's really good for a guitar if you want to do like a bow, 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 you know, like a kind of funky, like bow, 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 like that kind of thing. But on the bassoon, it sounds like a dying duck. It's great. And then I've got a pretty whack reverb pedal, which has loads of cool settings, which is just really useful. And it's got a sustain as well. So that's good.
Yeah.
I want to delay so you can do the kind of fun, like, feedbacky thing where it's like...
Yeah, that's good to have. I got one of those during lockdown.
Yeah. Which one? That's my question.
Oh, I got it's a Tysco delay, It costs like 90 quid new.
That's pretty good.
But you can probably find some deals out there if you tried. It just looks really pretty, which is one of the main reasons I got it. And
I feel like the Boss delay pedal is kind of just, I feel like that's the one that everyone gets, right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you haven't got that, if you've got a delay pedal and you haven't got that, I respect you.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think during lockdown I got really into a wormhole, as you can with things like guitar pedals, and it just did seem that the sad truth of it was that the kind of boring pedals that you see a lot get used because they're quite, they kind of just do the thing, and
they're there for a reason.
And as much as it'd be nice to like go and like, oh, I've got this like the hand painted thing that's made by this one man with a long beard in a hut in Tennessee, and like he makes 3 of them a year. As cool as that sounds,
they always cost like £400.
Yeah,
as well. They've all just got like trippy mushrooms on or something, and you're like, this is cool, but
it's just not. It's not feasible, is it?
I'll tell you. Have you ever used those Donna pedals?
I have.
Not like Donna Kebab.
I've got a Donna tuner. But I have.
Oh, not the tuner, not the tuner.
No, I haven't.
Any of the other.
I haven't
ones.
used any of the other ones.
The tuner's basic, mate. They're like 30 quid. Swear down, new. It's mad. The chorus is alright. I'm not gonna lie.
Cool.
Like if you just want to get cheap, quick pedals, just to beef out your rig.
Beef out that rig.
But they break. They're not very good.
Hashtag
they break.
Affordaboard.
Affordaboard.
So you show up at random pub in Torquay with this.
Yeah.
What is the sound guy's reaction?
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like, and no disrespect to sound guys, right? Because it's a tough job, and you don't get a lot of love. In fact, you never get any love.
You get zero love.
Hate. You just get hate.
Yeah.
So, but they don't help themselves. Let's not lie. Not all of them. I don't want to generalize, but and maybe it's just from years and years of being like people just being like, I fucking hate you and what you do, and they're just like, oh my god, I hate these musician bands, which is fair enough. But I'm not gonna lie, no one has ever, like, sometimes someone will be like, oh yeah, so you got a bassoon, okay, cool. But usually it's just like, oh yeah, so you DI the bassoon, and it's just like, what are you talking about? I know you've never seen this in your life. It's like, I know you haven't seen this shit before. Why are you acting like you see this shit all the time? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, people do not get. People do. I actually get quite upset. People do not get kind of weirded out enough. Because that's the main. It's just an elaborate gimmick. Or is it? It's just an expensive, elaborate gimmick. Is what a bassoon is.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good. Sounds terrible. It's just funny.
It is. It is really funny. To be fair.
Yeah, it is funny. But
I guess.
Yeah, but these guys. Yeah, a lot of them just like, yeah, whatever. It's just a thing. So usually they don't know what to do, and it sounds terrible. But it's gonna sound terrible anyway, so whatever. They just turn it down. That's fine.
Yeah.
You only have to see it. You don't want to hear it. Just see the guy playing it. Hear a faint kind of.
Buddy Caderney, aka Sloppy Giuseppe.
That's me.
Who is the best band you've ever played with?
I knew you were going to ask me this question. And I didn't prepare an answer. And it's really annoying. I'm wearing a Bull jumper right now, and they're pretty fucking good. You know when you see or play with a band, and you're just like, fuck, these guys are so much better than us, or these guys are so good. They're definitely up there. They've just got, I feel it's just because they gig loads, and they do it all over, and they do it properly. And they take themselves seriously, but not too seriously. They're great. I mean, I know you're a fan.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Bull, and
I feel like they're definitely not a fan of me. I feel like they saw me and they were like, they took one hard look at me and were like, yeah, this guy's not cool. This guy doesn't fuck. Which I respect though. I respect that. So I don't hold any judgment, man. They're good, man.
I mean,
I mentioned them earlier. I got a soft spot for Sylvette. I think I don't know. They're just the way they play. It's just it's nice music, man. It's just like he sings so fucking well, and they're so tight live. Another band, Porridge. We used to play with a fair bit up in Manchester. They're dope. They're really dope.
Yeah, Porridge. Are they still doing stuff?
I think they're still doing stuff. I mean, no one's doing stuff right now, but
yeah, of course.
Oh, I should have prepared an answer for this question because I'm sure there's someone I'm forgetting who I'm just like, oh yeah, these guys obviously are the best. But those three are pretty good.
I know Bull, obviously, and Sylvette. I'll have to check out Porridge. What do Porridge do?
I don't think you like it. I'm not gonna lie.
Try me.
It's kind of like funk house. I don't think you like it. It's really good live though. It's really good. They get a crowd moving.
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to think now because that for sure I've played with some people where I've just been like, oh my god. But I think that's a sad thing actually. I'm not sure I have. I feel I've played so many gigs where I've just been like, these guys are fucking trash. Why am I playing a show? And like, I'm not trying to big myself up. Like, you know, I'm not saying anything I've ever done is, you know, world-beating music or it's, you know, changing the game or I'm this special guy who's great at blah, blah, blah. Because I'm not. But I feel like I've seen some people I've been playing with, I'm just like, oh my god, man. Like, do I really have to? You know when it's like the support act and you're like, yeah, I've got to stay and watch this. But, oh my god, this is fucking shite. You know?
Yeah, because I think there's an etiquette, isn't there, that's largely dictated by where you are on the lineup, as to like what, like if you're playing first, then I feel like you've got to watch the one after you.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Then I feel like there's no obligation for you to stay for the headliner. But then if you're up top,
you got to stay for all of it.
Yeah, you've kind of got to be around for the whole thing.
I'm not very good at that, just because most of the time it's shit, and I'm just like, I'll watch a couple of songs and I'll be like, oh, do I really have to do this?
Yeah.
Do I really have to sit here and listen to another fucking boring, I don't know, it's just, yeah, there's been some trash. Those three stand out good bands, though. Those three, I back it. Good bands.
Yeah. I love Bull, man.
I mean, as I said, I'm
really
wearing
do
their jumper right now. I rep those guys. I respect them. They've just signed a deal, which is dope. I'm happy for them.
Good for them. Man. Go get that success.
Even I did a solo. Were you there? It was a horrible solo show I did, but they were the headline. And I feel like they were so like, oh my god, what? I feel like that was them in what I've just said, being like, oh my god, why do I have to watch the support act? I feel like this was Bull at this show, being like, watching me and being like, why do I have to play with this guy? I was literally doing a cover of Goofy Goober Rock by SpongeBob. And the guy, Tom, afterwards, he was like, oh yeah, I really like that song about like being a Goofy Goober. And I was like, oh yeah, it's from the SpongeBob film. And he just looked at me like, oh, is it? I was just like, yeah, okay.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you like the sound of Buddy and you want to check out what kind of music he's been up to, the new Tugboat Captain album Rut is out on the 16th of October. You can pre-order a vinyl now, or just listen to the single that's out currently, No Plans for This Year, which is pretty good. He's also all over the new Rooskin EP, Honey Spells, which is available on Bandcamp, Spotify, wherever you get your music, you know the drill. And that's also pretty good, so that's two things to look out for. Best band I ever played with is recorded by me, Billy Pratt. All the music you've heard is all by me as well. And if you like what you've heard, why don't you tell a friend about it? Or give it a like or a comment or, all that kind of thing that you normally hear at the end of podcasts. Wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing, have a lovely day.